All right, so here's a video on lesson 76, arithmetic sequences. We're going to be focusing on the back because we've already done the front in class, but I want to make a few things clear and give you guys a little bit of notes to start off. Now, the first thing, and it's great news regarding arithmetic sequences, is that one of the formulas is on the reference sheet. So I'm going to show you what that reference sheet looks like. The high school math reference sheet, which comes attached to the back of the Regents, so you don't have to memorize any of these formulas, has arithmetic sequences right here. Now, the catch is, this right here is the explicit. If you remember, I stated it the other day that there are two forms. Now, I want to be clear about everything, so let's start back at the beginning. What is an arithmetic sequence? And you should be writing this in your notes because I'm going to make a lot of the vocabulary apparent. An arithmetic sequence is a list of numbers with a common difference. And what that means is it's got a common addition or subtraction. And all of these numbers are referenced by what number in line they are. So for instance, an arithmetic sequence that starts off 10, 17, 24, 31, ... That has a common difference of +7. And for their n values, right, n equals 1, n equals 2, n equals 3, n equals 4, and so on. All right? So an arithmetic sequence is one type of a list of numbers. There are two ways to write this. There are two notations. There is explicit, which is the one that we've practiced. This is given on the reference sheet. And there is recursive. Explicit, I want to use the same formula that the reference sheet does, so when you go to use it, you're familiar. They have done a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d, which is the common difference. So I want to be clear about what these mean. A sub n, this is a term that means any term in sequence A. A sub 1 means the first term in A. N is the number in line for the term in question. And D is the common difference. Okay? Now, this is just a different form of the same exact equation that we were using in class, but I'd like us to get familiar with this one because we can use the reference sheet to recall it in case we forget the one that we were using. Now, it's the same exact thing, the only difference is, and you would essentially distribute the common difference onto these two terms. Recursive is the one that we're going to focus on a little bit more today. A recursive sequence has two parts. It has a sub 1 equals, right? So you need to be told what the first term is. And it also has a sub n is equal to a sub n minus 1 plus d. Now, this is like reading a sentence, all right? What these sentences mean is the first term of A, the sequence, is ... So they're telling you where to start. And then this. This is going to require a little bit more decoding. If you remember, a sub n means any term of A. That eraser is way bigger than I thought it was. Okay, so a sub n, like I was saying, is any term of A. Now, n is the number in line, right? So n minus 1 makes it the person before it, right? So if we're thinking about this, and I'll give you some examples, but if we're thinking about this, that makes this the term before it. And you know that plus d is the common difference. So when I read this as a sentence, what it says to me is it says any term of A is equal to the term before it plus the common difference. Any term of A is equal to the term before it plus the common difference. So it's a step of instructions that's telling you how to make the list, right? Here's where you start. And then for any term, you just take the term before it and you add d. Now d could be negative, of course, in which case that would really be subtraction, but either way. So let's do a couple on the back together. The structure of a recursive sequence we've already stated, but let's put it again. It has two parts. It has a first term and it has a rule. The first term is a sub 1 equals something, and the rule is a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus d. Now I want to clarify on the a sub n minus 1 so that it's not just something I told you, it's something that makes sense. If we have a list of numbers, right? If we have a list of numbers and I'll leave them nice and vague, right? If I have a sub 1, which is the first term of a sub 2, which is the second term of a a sub 3, dot, dot, dot. When I say something like a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus the common difference, what I'm saying is if you want the fourth term, right? If I want this guy right here, because I don't know the fourth term, well, the fourth term is equal to, let's just sub in 4 for n. And when I simplify this, I get that a sub 4 is equal to a sub 3 plus the common difference. So any term is equal to the term before it plus the difference. So that's where we get that notation from, and that's why I read it as a sentence and why it means what it does. All right. So let's list the first 5 terms of the sequence. We have our first term, and we have our rule. So a sub 1, the first term is negative 5. Now what's the rule? So this is saying any term of a equals the term before it minus 10. Any term of a is equal to the term before it minus 10. That's what this says right here. So if I want the second term, it's equal to the term before it minus 10. So the second term is just this minus 10. Negative 5 minus 10, that's going to be negative 15. Any term of a is equal to the term before it minus 10. So the term before it minus 10, minus 10, minus 10, minus 10. So that's what it's telling me to do here. It's saying every time I go over, minus 10, minus 10, minus 10. So it should be really easy to fill in the rest of this now that I understand the pattern. It's going to be negative 25, negative 35, and negative 45. And don't forget the comma, dot, dot, dot. All right. Let's do one more. 21. The first term is 24. That's what this is telling me. A sub 1 is 24. And I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to write it out now. Any term of a is equal to the term before it minus 20. So minus 20, that gets me 4. Let's minus 20 again. That's going to get me negative 16. Minus 20, minus 20, that's going to get me negative 36 and negative 56. Comma, dot, dot, dot. That's my first 5 terms. Now you should be good to complete the rest in this section. All right, now let's move on to the next. Now we're going to be writing the recursive sequence notation. In order to write it, don't forget we need 2 parts. Right? We need a first term and we need a rule. So my first term here is negative 23. So a sub 1 is equal to negative 23. And every rule will start off the same way. A sub n is equal to a sub n minus 1. So every term is equal to the term before it. And what's the pattern here? We're going plus 2. Okay, quite simple. I think you should be perfectly set up to complete the rest of the standout, and good luck.